is 9 News.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Gemma Gunning. 3 men have been arrested and are expected to be charged after allegedly abducting 2 women and 2 teenage boys in the New South Wales Central West. This is the moment the 2 women and 2 boys were taken to hospital after being found safe and well. Fiona Willan is in Uther for us this morning. Fee, what more can you tell us?
Well, Gemma, I can tell you it has been an extraordinary 24 hours. Police were called here to Uther yesterday morning after reports of a house fire. But when they got here, things got very strange. They found a 68-year-old man near the scene of the fire with bad head injuries. He told them that he had been at the property when it had been raided by 2 men armed with a knife, an axe and a gun. They had attacked him. He had managed to escape to raise the alarm, but he'd passed out nearby. And when he awoke, he found the house had been burnt down and the 4 other occupants were missing: a 71-year-old woman, a 41-year-old woman and 2 teenage boys aged 13 and 14. Now, as you can imagine, that sparked a major police hunt. Police believe that the 4 people knew the men who had taken them and that they were heading to the Hunter Valley. We received an update at about 7:30 last night when we heard that the older woman and the 2 boys had been found safe and well after being dropped off at a roadside in Windsor, which is just outside Sydney, and that 2 men had been arrested after a car chase. We spoke with a witness to that arrest. Take a listen.
I'm terrified. They just screamed down there and nearly went into the water, broke through the ferry and straight up there to the toilet block. There was a lot of yelling and screaming, police helicopter, pretty terrifying.
What were they yelling?
Stop.
At that stage, there were still grave fears for the 41-year-old woman. She was believed to be with another man. Police were searching the area with a chopper and the dog squad. And at about 11:30 last night, they managed to track them down in bushland at Blackslands Ridge, which is about 20 k's from Windsor. The woman was okay. She was taken into the care of police and that man was arrested. So 3 men in custody this morning, aged 44, 23 and 29. We are expecting them to be charged within a matter of hours. Gem?
Fiona Willan with the latest from Uther, thank you. Queenslanders are bracing for more wild weather as a supercell storm blasts through the state's southeast. Downpours have drenched the coastline. Noosa received over 70 millimetres yesterday, with meteorologists warning there's more to come. Further inland hailstorms thrashed rural properties. At one orchard, the ice pebbles became lodged in the fruit nets, creating gigantic frozen balls. Thousands have gathered in the forecourt of the Sydney Opera House last night to protest the controversial light show promoting this weekend's horse race, the Everest. Amid chants and song, the 3,000-strong crowd shone torches and floodlights onto the sails in a bid to wash out the promotion.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
After the light show, demonstrators turned their lights to a nearby apartment block, the home of broadcaster Alan Jones. The New South Wales Premier has weighed into the immigration debate, calling for a dramatic 50% cut to the migrant intake to help ease the strain on Sydney and Melbourne. Gladys Berejiklian says her government has had to play catch-up in building transport and other infrastructure as the rate of immigration has ballooned out of control. She says, being the daughter of immigrants, she has not taken her position lightly. Doctors from Melbourne's Royal Children's Hospital are ready to operate on a set of conjoined twins from Bhutan. 1 week after arriving in Australia, surgeons say Nina and Dawa are finally ready for their life-changing surgery.
Barring any unforeseen circumstances and coughs and colds, our plan is to undertake the separation on Friday.
A team of 50 staff will be on hand during the procedure, which could take up to 12 hours. Proposed changes to discrimination laws may allow religious schools to deny entry to gay students, as well as letting them ban gay teachers. Fairfax newspapers say a report by former Government Minister Philip Ruddock recommends the changes. His review was carried out in the wake of the gay marriage vote last year. Conservative MPs fearing the change to marriage laws could result in restrictions to religious freedoms. The report has not yet been released. A dangerous and life-threatening storm is churning through the Gulf of Mexico and barrelling towards the US. Hurricane Michael is gaining strength as it hits warmer waters and is predicted to be a Category 3 by the time it makes landfall in Florida. Millions of people are preparing for the worst as a state of emergency is declared. They were simply walking down the street and it's cost them their lives. A massive sinkhole opening up in China with 4 people disappearing through the footpath when it collapsed beneath them. Dozens of firefighters were involved in the rescue effort, but the victims did not survive. He's currently planning another summit with Donald Trump, but Kim Jong-un isn't stopping there. The North Korean leader has invited Pope Francis to visit Pyongyang. No pope has ever visited North Korea, though the late Pope John Paul II was once invited. Well, 2 years old is old enough, it seems, to be living on your own if you're a panda. These twins celebrating their birthday with a little bit of independence from their mother and now have their own panda patch at the Chinese Zoo. The move was made possible because they no longer depend on mum for milk and now mainly eat bamboo and carrots. Very cute indeed. Taking a look at the weather around the country. Late showers and a gusty storm on the way for Brisbane, heading to 31 degrees. Showers and becoming windy in Sydney, 18 degrees. 13 and a shower or 2 for Canberra. Mostly sunny skies in Melbourne, 18. Partly cloudy and 14 degrees in Hobart. Adelaide, mostly sunny and 20. A possible morning storm for Perth and sunshine in Darwin and a very warm 35 degrees. Coming up this morning, why Australian women are being denied crucial information that could help them detect breast cancer. Plus, bad blood, why Taylor Swift has gone down in Donald Trump's books. And what did Prince William have to say about Kate's paintwork when the royal pair brushed up on their art skills? Welcome back. Let's take a look at the front pages. In Sydney, put the brakes on immigration is the Telegraph's headline. Premier Gladys Berejiklian calls for a 50% cut to the state's immigration intake as Sydney grapples with a ballooning population. In Melbourne, the Herald Sun leads with "Stop hating on Jane." Union bosses turn on their own, saying union bullying and harassment of the former Emergency Services Minister must end. This choke isn't funny. The Courier Mail reveals new data showing major roads in Queensland's southeast will be choked with traffic beyond their capacity within 25 years. The Australian reports Josh Frydenberg has urged America and China to de-escalate their trade war before it gets out of control. Smarten Up is the Adelaide Advertiser's headline. South Australia could employ nearly 650 new teachers under a multi-billion-dollar plan from the federal opposition. To Tasmania, and the Mercury reports on safety concerns over Hobart Airport's new flight paths after planes flew too close to each other on 2 occasions. You are watching 9 News Early Edition. These are our top stories. Safe and well, 2 women and 2 teenage boys found after being abducted in a terrifying ordeal. Their alleged abductors now in custody. Queensland bracing for wild weather. The state's southeast set to be hit with a supercell system, bringing with it damaging rain, hail and fierce winds. And how religious schools could turn away gay students and teachers under changes to discrimination laws. US President Donald Trump has lost one of his top aides with the resignation of United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley. Let's go to 9 US correspondent Lizzie Pearl, who's got more from Los Angeles. Lizzie, why is she calling it quits?
Yeah, good morning to you, Gemma. Well, it's a move which has come as a shock to Washington, but apparently not to the president himself, with Nikki Haley, the US ambassador to the United Nations, announcing her resignation this morning. Now, she didn't give any concrete reasons other than to say that it's time. In her words, there's no personal reason. It's very important for government officials to understand when it's time to step aside. The president told a packed Oval Office today that Nikki Haley came to him 6 months ago, saying that she only wanted to serve serve in the role for 2 years. The president has praised Ambassador Haley as a fantastic person before the pair went on to talk up their achievements over the last 2 years on North Korea, on Syria, as well as trade deals, saying that the United States is now respected by the global community.
So we're all happy for you in one way, but we hate to lose. Hopefully you'll be coming back at some point, but you want to just in maybe a different capacity. You can have your pick.
Now, Nikki Haley served as Governor of South Carolina for 6 years before taking on the role at the United Nations. She has ruled out running for president in 2020, instead saying that she will be campaigning for Donald Trump. She'll serve in the role until January, and the president says he'll be ready to announce her successor within 3 weeks. Gemma.
Lizzie Pearl reporting there, thank you. Still in the US, and Kanye West will meet with Donald Trump at the White House later this week. The two men are expected to discuss prison reform, jobs and gang violence. The rapper has been a vocal supporter of Mr Trump and has previously announced his own plan to run for president one day. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift's political comments have caught the attention of Mr Trump. The president weighing in after the singer told her 112 million Instagram followers she would be voting for the Democrats in the upcoming elections.
And let's say that I like Taylor's music about 25% less now, okay?
Mr Trump has spoken warmly of the pop star in the past, calling her fantastic and terrific on Twitter. Bad news for commuters who drive into Melbourne CBD, with a lane closure expected to cause traffic chaos. Works on the new Metro tunnel mean that from today, 1 of 3 westbound lanes on Flinders Street will be closed for up to 4 years. Drivers are being warned to allow an extra 15 minutes for their trip. A vicious road rage attack between 2 Queensland tradies has been caught on camera. The fight, captured in Launton, north of Brisbane, shows the pair exchanging blows and even throwing each other onto the road while blocking 2 lanes of traffic. They eventually jump back into their cars. It's not yet known what sparked the assault. With no known cure, psoriasis can feel like a life sentence, condemning sufferers to an eternity of pain and itching. Now, 2 new drugs have been approved for use, providing relief for Australians living with the condition.
It's hard to believe now Leanne Tranby was covered in scaly lesions. Her severe psoriasis very similar to this.
It was spotty, yeah, like a leopard spots. Where other people I know, they had like just big patches, where mine was all just spotty.
It started on her knees, elbows, then her scalp.
And I got really concerned when it started to come down the side of my face and on around my eyes.
Can you imagine somebody with a scaly, irritable, red and bleeding rash over most of their body? So it can be very severe in these people.
The patches, known as plaques, are triggered by an influx of immune cells, and in the past few years, targeted drugs have revolutionised the treatment.
These biological agents are injections, and these injections are targeted at certain areas of the immune system which affect psoriasis.
Now 2 newer drugs are approved for use in Australia. Leanne trialled one of them, called Tremfya, which is injected every 2 months. It was the first time in a decade her skin completely cleared.
That worked, yeah.
There's no doubt that our patients with severe psoriasis can almost be cured.
Tremfya and the other newly listed drug, Ilumya, are the first in a new class of medications to selectively block a protein called IL-23 to reduce the inflammation that causes psoriasis. Leanne didn't experience any side effects, but
there's a slightly higher risk of infection, a cold or a flu.
the newer drugs give doctors more choice, especially if older treatments aren't working, but they're expensive. One of them costs patients about $20,000 a year. An independent committee of experts has recommended both medicines be subsidised by the government. Gabriella Rogers, 9 News.
There's a push to give women access to crucial information that could help them detect breast cancer. News Corp reports Australia is lagging well behind the US when it comes to informing women of their breast density after having a mammogram. Further testing is needed to properly check for cancer in women with dense breasts. WA is the only state in Australia where it's compulsory to inform women of their breast density. 5 koalas and 2 wombats are about to embark on a trip to the other side of the world as part of an international conservation and education program. After several months in quarantine, the cute and cuddly animals will make the long flight from Adelaide to a safari zoo in England.
These are Australia's newest international ambassadors, ready for an unprecedented 35-hour journey across the globe.
Part of our attempt to showcase the environments of South Australia and the conservation issues that South Australia and Australia faces.
The transfer team will be accompanied by a vet in a specially arranged cargo plane to the Longleat Safari Park in England's southwest.
Over there they have constructed Koala Creek and they've planted a eucalypt forest all ready to welcome the koalas and wombats to the United Kingdom.
All of them have undergone a strict selection process, some more koalified to travel than others.
Only those that had the right personalities, the right health status, with the right age and the right connection to the keepers and the ability to travel in the crates for some 35 hours, they had to pass the muster.
Transporting the 2 hairy-nosed wombats is a little more straightforward because they're used to living in a confined space. It's hoped the country's newest ambassadors will generate even more tourism interest abroad, not just for the Cleland Wildlife Park, but for the entire state. The landmark move coming as the state government seeks private investment to transform the park into a world-class tourist destination. The current plan, a $150 million revamp with a hotel, restaurants, shops and cable cars.
We won't be specifically mandating what we want here. We will be asking the market to tell us what they think is profitable and what that partnership would look like.
Reece D'Alessandro, 9 News.
You'd think escaping prison would be hard, but these inmates made it look easy. 2 inmates were caught on camera using garbage bins, of all things, to escape from a Kentucky prison. The cunning suspects were rolled out, hidden in the bins by fellow inmates. When the coast was clear, they popped out and made their dash. Unfortunately for them, the prison was on their case and they were later caught by police. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have revealed their playful side when brushing up on their art skills. Prince William joking that Kate had ruined a painting when she was asked to contribute.
That's pretty much ruined the picture. This is how you probably ruin a picture.
The royal couple was at an event in London to promote mental health. Time now to check in with the Today Show. What's coming up this morning?
Yeah, good morning. Huge show again this morning. We hear from the sporting legends campaigning to ban alcohol advertising, Gemma.
We are in health news covering why plastic cups and bottles could cause serious harm to pregnant women.
In your money, why it's better to rent than buy.
And a massive $60,000 jackpot is in our cash call, so you don't want to miss that.
Wouldn't that make someone's day? Thanks, team. Still to come this morning, all of the day's sports news and the Aussies on the ropes in Dubai after a horror batting collapse. The Dragons lose a winger to North Queensland. And GWS star Dylan Shiel makes a giant decision. Let's start with cricket, where a horror batting collapse has left the Aussies reeling after day 3 in Dubai. After getting through to 142 for no wickets, the Aussies lost their next 10 for just 60 runs as Pakistan's bowlers ripped through them.
Straight through him. Might have even been a little inside edge, but it's the same result. Mohammad Abbas picks up his 4th. Pakistan have Australia on the ropes in this first innings.
Australia's spinners saved the day from complete embarrassment. Pakistan will resume on 3 for 45. In NRL, Dragons winger Nene McDonald is off to Cowboys country, joining North Queensland on a 3-year deal. He'll join a new-look Cowboys backline, also featuring Ben Barber, who took out the English Super League's Best and Fairest award yesterday. Meanwhile, over in New Zealand, the Kangaroos have named Tom Trbojevic to start at centre for the suspended Greg Inglis in their upcoming test against New Zealand. Dylan Shiel wants to don the red sash next season, nominating Essendon as his preferred choice for a trade destination. Many tipped the Giant star to go to Carlton on a lucrative deal, but he says money wasn't the main motivating factor.
Just trying to make a balanced decision for myself and my family.
Shiel is just one of 3 Giants players requesting to be traded, with Will Setterfield and Rory Lobb also seeking an exit. Basketball season is finally here as the NBL gets underway tomorrow, starting off with the Breakers taking on the Brisbane Bullets. But it's reigning champions Melbourne United and the Adelaide 36ers who'll be the ones to beat this season, as well as the star-studded Sydney Kings side featuring Andrew Bogut. And in tennis, Aussie Matt Ebden has staged a massive upset overnight, beating world number 7 Dominic Thiem at the Shanghai Open. Thiem produced some magical moments, but Ebden held on to record the biggest win of his career in 3 sets. Alex de Minaur also won through to the next round, where he'll take on Benoit Paire. Stay with us on Nine's Early Edition. All the weather details coming up after the break. Taking a look at the weather, and around the country today, late showers and a gusty storm on the way for Brisbane, heading to 31 degrees. Showers in Sydney, a top of 18, 13 and a shower or 2 for Canberra. Mostly sunny skies in Melbourne, reaching 18 degrees. Partly cloudy and 14 in Hobart. Adelaide mostly sunny and 20. A possible morning storm for Perth, and sunshine in Darwin and a very warm 35 degrees. Tomorrow, a few showers in Brisbane, 22 degrees. Sydney, a shower or 2 and 18. Partly cloudy and 15 in Canberra, sunny and 20 in Melbourne. And quickly looking ahead to Friday, Brisbane, showers and 21, a shower or 2 on the way for Sydney. Cloudy in Canberra, sunny and 22 in Melbourne, partly cloudy in Hobart, partly cloudy in Adelaide and a shower or 2 for Perth. That's all from myself and the team. It's now time for Today.